So this is the lesson for 8-9, surface area of triangular prisms and square pyramids. The square pyramids we're actually going to do as a day 2, all right? So if when in the triangular prisms today, you're going to have triangles, all right? Triangular prisms, remember, they look like that triangular stick of butter, all right? So you are going to have to find the area of a triangle. If you think back to elementary school, the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. For 1/2, you could just use 0.5 if you want. All right. The base is the bottom, and the height. Well, think about when you measure your height. All right. When you measure somebody's height, how tall they are, they stand straight up and down. They don't lean over to the side or lean over to the other side. When you measure somebody's height, it's straight up and down. So when we take a look at the triangle here with 7 and 12, 7 is your height. Notice that 7 is this dotted line that goes right up through the middle of the triangle, and it's the straight up and down line. That is your height. Don't get the height because they will try and confuse you in these questions today. They might tell you, like, oh, this side is 14 and this side is 11. Well, we're not going to use that 14 and the 11 in the calculation for the area of the triangle. When you measure somebody's height, you measure it straight up and down. So when you're looking at the heights today of the triangle, it's this line that goes straight up and down right here, which is the 7. The base is the bottom. The height and the base come together to sort of form an upside down T. All right. So the base is the bottom. But just don't get confused. You're not going to use the 14 for the area of the triangle. You're not going to use the 11 for the area of the triangle. When you measure something's height, it's straight up and down. Sometimes you'll have right triangles, all right? In a right triangle, again, the height goes straight up and down. So this is your height, all right? Maybe this side was 10. 10 is not your height because 10 goes to the side, it's slanted. So that's not your height. We might use that in other parts of finding the total surface area, but we're not going to use it for the area of the triangle. The base is the bottom part. Again, the height and the base come together. All right. They cross each other. So again, the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height, or 0.5 times the base times the height. So when we're looking at these, the easiest way that I think to do these is that they have, each triangular prism has 5 sides. If we sort of unraveled or unfolded this triangular prism, it would form this shape. All right. Notice that you have 2 triangles. Those 2 triangles are exactly the same. In every single problem, the 2 triangles will be exactly the same. So when you find the area of one triangle, you're automatically finding the area of the other triangle as well. Then you have 3 different rectangles. Sometimes they're the same, but other times all 3 of them could be different. You might also have ones that one is different, but 2 of them are the same. All right, so you do have to calculate each rectangle individually. So we're really doing 4 different calculations. You're finding the area of the triangles. Remember, the formula for area of a triangle is 0.5 times the base times the height, plus you're adding together the bottom. Now, the bottom is going to be a rectangle. So that's just base times height, or length times width, however you want to say it. Then you have the one side, which is another rectangle, which is base times height, or length times width. And then you have the other side, which is base times height, or length times width. After you find all 4 of these things individually, we are going to take and add those 4 numbers together to give you your total volume. So when we take a look at this one, when we go to look at our picture here, I'm going to find the triangles first. So you automatically have 0.5. Now the base of the triangle and the height of the triangle. The base of the triangle is the bottom of the triangle. So we can look at either of the 2 triangles because remember that they're both the same. The base is the bottom of the triangle. So our base is right here. This 9 going across the bottom, that is our base. Now, I don't see a height here. Don't get confused with the 4.5 or the 7.2. Those are leaning to the sides. We don't want the ones that lean to the side. We want the one that goes straight up and down. Well, the one that goes straight up and down is actually on the other triangle for this one. It forms that right angle. That's how you know for sure that it goes straight up and down. So 4 is really our height. So we have 0.5 times 9 times 4. When you type that into the calculator, 0.5 times 9 times 4, you get 18. Now remember, you not only have one triangle, you actually have two triangles that are exactly the same. So we're not just adding one of the 18s, we're adding two of the 18s, sort of like yesterday when we had the different sides of the rectangular prism. When we take a look at the bottom, all right, let's take a look at the bottom. So this bottom, this purple is the bottom. That is a rectangle. And in that rectangle, I can see that one of the sides is 8.1 and the other side is 9. So I have 8.1 times 9. That's my length and my width, or my base times my height. Either way, it is the same thing. When you multiply those together, you get 72.9. When I take a look at my two sides, I'm actually going to erase on here just so that I can point out the two sides a little bit clearer. So when you take a look at your two sides, your two rectangles, again, we're not looking at the bottom, we're looking at the side. So let's take a look at this side first. Now, that side is a rectangle. I can see that one of the sides is this side, and that is 7.2. And then I have this side of the rectangle, which is 8.1. So I have 7.2 times 8.1. 7.2 times 8.1 gives you 58.32. Don't round anything, all right? None of the directions say to round. For the other side, I am taking a look at the other rectangle on the other side. So I'm taking a look at this rectangle right here. So this is where I'm actually going to use this 4.5. This 4.5 is this distance right here. So I'm using the 4.5. I need this length as well. Now that length is the same as this length. So that is 8.1. So I'm going to do 4.5 times 8.1. 4.5 times 8.1. All right, 4.5 times 8.1 gives us 36.45. Now you want to take and add together all all 5 of those sides. You have an 18 and 18 plus 72.9 plus 58.32 plus 36.45. So you want to take and add together all 5 of those numbers. When you do that, you get a final answer of 203.67. So again, you want to find the two triangles, the area of the two triangles, find the area of your rectangular bottom, find the area of your rectangular side, find the area of the other rectangular side, and add all 5 numbers together. When you go and do that, let's take a look at the next one. So we have two triangles, the bottom, the side, and the side. When we take a look at the triangles, all right, when we take a look at the triangles, so triangle here and triangle here. Remember that your two triangles are the same size all the time. So when you find one, you're automatically finding the other. The formula is 0.5 times the base times the height. So I have 0.5. The base of the triangle is the bottom of the triangle, so that's times 10, times your height. Now remember, the height goes straight up and down. It's not this 10. This 10 is not the height of the triangle because that is slanted. The 8.3 here goes straight up and down. Notice the right angle. I know for sure that that's going straight up and down. So I have 8.3 as my height. 0.5 times 10 times 8.3 gives me 41.5. Now remember, I not only have one of these, I have two of these because I have two triangles. Now we got to look at the bottom. When I look at the bottom, I'm going to erase this. When I look at the bottom, my bottom is a rectangle. So when I'm taking a look at the purple bottom here, I'm taking a look and I see one of the lengths being 10 and the other one being 14. So you want to do base times height for your bottom. So I'm going to do 10 times 14. Again, it doesn't matter what order you multiply in. If you were thinking that 14 times 10, that's the same exact thing. 10 times 14 or 14 times 10 is 140. So that is my area of my bottom. Now I need the area of the two sides. And again, sometimes they're different, sometimes they are the same. So let's take a look at this one first. If I take a look at that rectangle, I can see that this length is 14 and this length is 10. So again, it's base times height because it's a rectangle. So I have 14 times 10. 14 times 10 is 140. For my other side, and this one's a little bit harder to see because it's sort of in the background here. It's behind our picture. I'm looking at that yellow rectangle. I can see that this side of the yellow rectangle is 10. I need either this side or this side. Well, this side right here at the bottom is the same as this length right here. So that is 14. So again, I have 10 times 14. Now, all three of those rectangles happen to be the same. The bottom, the side, and the side all happen to be the same. Does that happen sometimes? Yes, it does. Did it happen in our first example where we had sort of a flattened out, smushed triangular prism? No, it doesn't happen all the time. That's why you need to find each bottom, side, and side individually because sometimes they are the same, sometimes they are different. So now you want to take and add together all five of your answers. When you add together all five of those, 41.5 plus 41.5 plus 140 plus 140 plus 140, you get 503 as your total surface area. Let me do one more for you, then I'll have you try one on your own. So again, we're taking a look at the rectangular prism. The formula for a triangle is 0.5 times base times the height. So I have 0.5. Now I have my two triangles. I have one triangle right here, and I have one triangle right here. So looking at the base is the bottom of the triangle. Here's my base. So my base is 4, and my height, now this happens to be a right triangle, so it happens to be right here. That 3 goes straight up and down. Don't get it confused with the 5. We're not using that 5 for the height because the 5 is slanted. So 0.5 times 4 times 3 gives me an answer of 6 for my area. Now remember, you don't only have one 6, you have two 6s because you have the two triangles. For my bottom, I'm looking at this rectangle right here. I can clearly see that one of the lengths is 4 and one of the lengths is 7. So I have 4 times 7, base times height or length times width. 4 times 7 is 28 for the bottom. Looking at the side, it doesn't matter which side you do first. But looking at the side, let's take a look at, let's take a look at this rectangle right here. So taking a look at that purple rectangle, I see that this length is 7 and this length is 5. So I have 5 and I have 7. Base times height or length times width. So I have 5 times 7. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus the other side. Now, this other side is sort of in the background, all right, because it's on the side. What I'm looking at here is this one. So I can clearly see that this side of the rectangle is 3, but then I need this side or this side. Well, those sides are actually the same as this length right here, which is 7, because remember that that's a rectangle at the bottom and the opposite sides are the same. So I have a 3 and I have a 7. Base times height, 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. Take and add together all 5 of those areas. When you add together all 5, you get a total surface area of 96. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Now, this one, they give you the height a little bit differently. This line right here is the same as this distance right here. So that 6 is your height. Go ahead and find the total surface area, please. I'm going to give you about a minute and a half. So when we take a look at this, we want to take a look at our 2 triangles. When we take a look at our 2 triangles, I see that this has a base or bottom of 4 right here, and my height is 6. So 0.5 times 4 times 6 gives us 12. Now remember, you not only have one triangle, you have 2 triangles. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is forgetting that you have 2 triangles. So you got to write down 2 of the 12s. When I take a look at the bottom, taking a look at this green rectangle, I can see that one of the lengths is 4 and the other length is 12. So 4 times 12 gives us 48. When I take a look at the sides, all right, when I take a look at the sides, let me erase this stuff. When I take a look at the sides, I can see that I'm looking at like this rectangle right here. The slanted side is 7. All right, so this is 7 right here. So the slanted side is 7. This side is 12. So I have 7 times 12. 7 times 12 is 84. When I take a look at the other side is actually the same exact rectangle on this one. It is again 7, and this length is 12, or this length is 12, either way that you want to do it. So again, we have another 7 times 12, which is 84. Take and add together all 5 of those numbers, and you should get 240. One last one. Try this one on your own, please. One last one. Try this one on your own, please. Again, I'm going to give you about a minute and a half. I give you about 30 seconds more. So looking at our front triangle, remember that's the same as the back triangle. I have a base of 12 and I have a height of 16. Don't get confused with that 20. Remember, the slanted side is not your height. So this is the height, this is the base. So I have 0.5 times 12 times 16. When you multiply those together, you get 96. So I have 96 and 96. For the bottom is a rectangle, and we have 12 by 10. So 12 times 10 is 120. For the side, my side is right here in the blue. When you take a look at that, this bottom part is 10, this side is 20. So I have 10 times 20. 10 times 20 is 200. Plus, on this back side, all right, this back side, it's a little bit harder to see, so let me do this. On this back side, I'm taking a look at this rectangle. So this is 16, the height. This 10 we need to carry over. All right, we need to carry over that 10 to here because that 10 and that 10 are the same. So I have 16 times 10. 16 times 10 is 160. Take and add together all 5 of those areas, and you get 672. So again, I think the biggest mistake, there's 2 big mistakes that people make, all right? 3 big mistakes that people make. Don't forget the 0.5 in your formula. The height, it goes straight up and down. The height is not the slanted part. And don't forget that you have 2 triangles, not just 1 triangle. So